Welcome once again to Cinematic Obsessions, a show hosted by Frank Avila. And I have a number of guests here, father and son's team, and a local Chicago area actor. From left to right, we have local area columnist, Mike Houlihan. You may know him from Houlihan in the Hood.
Hi, everybody.
And to his left, you have Greg Holloman, who is, again, Chicago born and bred, and a actor, and we'll get more into his acting experience. And then we have Billy and Pat. Pat on my right, and Billy a little bit to his right. They are twin brothers, I understand.
Yep.
And they are sons of Mike Houlihan.
Correct.
Okay. And now, so I got this right. I think Billy is the executive producer.
Yep.
And Pat, you are the director.
Right.
Of a film that your father wrote, I believe?
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
We co-wrote it, yeah.
And it's called Tapioca.
Correct.
Okay. And we'll get into all of that. We just wanted to introduce you guys a little bit. But real quickly, tapioca is a word that means what?
You know, when you're tapped out, Tap City, tapioca.
No money.
No
Busted.
money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're writing to this show, don't ask for any money because we're tapioca. Now, Mike, you wrote the screenplay. Where did you get the idea from?
You know, it's an expression my dad used to use all the time when I was a kid trying to get some dough out of him on a Saturday morning. Hey, Mike, I'm tapioca. And didn't hear it we thought it was indigenous to the South Side. And then while we were filming, someone told us about a scene in The Sopranos where
Right.
I think Paulie Walnuts goes,
Walnuts,
I'm
yeah.
out, I'm tapioca. I went, oh, good, it's universal.
Right.
Now, Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself. I understand that I know you're writing from the Chicago Sun-Times, and but what I was very interested in, I think it was you, I could have got the biographies, that you have been in a number of Shakespearean plays.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Romeo and Juliet or Macbeth, because I always like the old Orson Welles version.
We have heard the chimes at midnight, Frank.
And actually, Roman Polanski did a very good Macbeth also.
Yeah.
So you were in a number of Shakespearean and classic plays. So were you classically trained then in theater?
Yeah, I was. I was a young apprentice with the American Shakespeare Festival in 1973 to 78, I think, something like that. No, it was 76. And I spent 4 years in Stratford, Connecticut doing Shakespeare. Mostly the clowns and the fools, and so it kind of prepared me for this career. And then I became obsessed, like cinematic obsession, with doing movies. My sons went to Columbia College and talked me out of the theater and into the film business.
Now, I also saw that you've had some shows on the Comedies Channel.
That's Greg.
Oh, that's Greg. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. So I got, but actually, let's go back because I got to read some of these because it's very impressive. Much Ado About Nothing, Twelfth Night, Julius Caesar, King Lear, some other non-Shakespearean classical plays, Henry IV, Tennessee Williams. So it's a very impressive. It's a very impressive resume.
Thank you.
Yeah, but this one is a little bit more lighthearted, I understand. Although,
definitely.
Although Much Ado About Nothing and some of the others are also comedies.
Yeah.
But perhaps a little bit more sophisticated.
We're not in that league.
Yeah.
No.
So how did you get then into the lighter comedy film?
You know, this film started as a stage show, and these guys were graduated from college, and I wanted to perform on stage with them before they went off into the world. I'm still waiting for them to do that. And so we got together with a bunch of their pals, and we put together a show with skits and songs, and it really worked for an audience. We did it at the Beverly Arts Center.
Well, the idea of Tapioca originally, we had started school at Marquette together before we had left Marquette to go to Columbia. But
A fine Jesuit institution.
yeah. He had actually done a stand-up act.
Oh, yeah.
Where a lot of it was about being broke, which when we originally got together, like he said, to try
Because
to
I was broke when I was doing the act.
to try to do this
Experiment
comedy, stage show. A lot of it was derived from the idea of the stand-up act that he had
Right.
done.
Well, that Marquette tuition might have made him broke.
That's
Yeah,
right. You ain't
yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
They're still paying him.
Still,
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit briefly. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but on Houlihan in the Hood, because that's where I know you from.
Right.
You've
Hooli
been-
in the Hood it was called.
Hooli in
Hooli's
the
my
Hood. I'm
nickname,
sorry.
Yeah.
So you shorten your name,
Yeah.
but I remember a number of you did stories on neighborhoods, stories on kind of interesting people,
Right.
people from Chicago, a very Chicago-oriented show, or column rather. Tell us a little bit how that developed, how long you did it.
I did it for about 3 years. It was the gig started as a St. Patrick's Week gig, different Irish people in Chicago, and then I pitched the idea of doing Chicago characters. Interesting thing about Hooli in the Hood, one of the guys I did was a guy who stands out in the corner of State and Madison. Not Madison.
The preacher guy?
Yeah, the preacher.
Yeah, that's at
Oh,
State
yeah.
and Randolph.
State and Randolph. His name is Samuel Chambers.
Right in front of the old Navy
That's
store.
the guy
Yeah.
with the megaphone. And I interviewed that guy, and he was terrific. So when we were writing the screenplay, we created a character like that, and Ellis Foster played him. He was terrific in the film.
Yeah.
So everything kind of bleeds together, you know. I had a lot of
And
fun.
who
doing
were
that.
some of your most memorable Hooli in the Hood stories or characters?
Johnny Latner was one, a great Notre Dame football hero. Samuel Chambers, obviously. Neil Hardigan, did one with him. I got to meet a lot of really cool people, and the kings and the paupers at the same time. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, Greg, I'm sorry that I messed up your guys' biography, but I saw that you're known in Comedy Central and that you've been in a number of movies. I think The Fugitive, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, fugitive. I play a roller skater, 7 seconds.
Okay.
That you'll miss if you blink. But yeah, I used to do a TV show called Strangers with Candy on Comedy Central with Stephen Colbert, Amy Steris, and Paul Dinello.
Okay.
And but I got my start.
I used
pretty
to watch
much-
Colbert on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, you're doing better than me. He's on now, and I'm here.
Greg and I worked together like 25 years ago on a little pilot that we did.
Called Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, Peter Nolan. Remember Peter Nolan from Channel 5? We did a pilot called Nolan's Cracker Barrel, and we had Greg and his partner, Michael McCarthy from Second City, do the comedy aspect of it, and made a big impression on me, and great to be working with him again.
Well, Chicago does have some local area talent. I think Gary Sinise, isn't he from Chicago?
Sure.
Chicago has a ton of
Yeah.
Tons.
And
tons of talent.
Yeah, and then a lot of people that were associated with that Evanston-based theater, the Pippin Theater.
Piven Workshop,
And,
Yeah, Jeremy Piven,
obviously. Yeah.
and
What's this?
parents.
What's
John Cusack.
Cusack?
and his
Joan
sister,
Cusack.
John Cusack, Joan Cusack.
And there's another Cusack.
My mother's name was Cusack.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to put in one of my biographies that I won the Cusack Award for comedy, and people would think it had something to do with the Cusacks.
Well,
I said, well, it's my mom gave me
My
that
two
award.
favorite Irish actors are Gabriel Byrne
Right.
and Liam Neeson.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I thought you were going to say Cyril
Who
Cusack.
should have been the next Bond?
Who, Gabriel Byrne?
No, Liam Neeson. Well, before not this new Bond, but the who's
Daniel Craig. Yeah.
Timothy Dalton.
before Timothy. Well, around Timothy.
Oh,
Dalton.
what's his name?
Pierce
Liam
Brosnan.
Neeson. Yeah, before Pierce Brosnan. He
Yeah.
was too pretty.
Okay. Well, so how many? Tell us a little bit about your theater and movie career. How did you get involved in it, and what are some of the other programs and movies? And
20 years ago, I had a friend who thought I should, work at Second City, and she sent me. I went to an audition, and I pretty much sucked, and they sent back a letter. Thanks for coming, but maybe you should try one of our classes, Players Workshop or Imagination Workshop, and so. I took a class at Second City. I took a class at Players Workshop, and it was. Oh no! I got the letter back. I threw it in the garbage, and she said, "Why don't you try it out? You make
Oh,
it."
they pushed you. That's good.
Yeah.
And so I took it, and it was like being in kindergarten. It's the best time of my life taking those classes. I could immediately see the path I want to take. One up Tapioca and disappointment, and a lot of disappointment. But but I've acted for 20 years. Been acting for about 20 years, doing improv, and I got hired eventually by Second City and toured around the United States and really learned my chops.
okay, and so you act for a living? Is that your full-time job?
Yes.
Okay.
No, my full-time job is trying to get
Yeah.
a job
Yeah.
as voice actress. But yes,
Okay. Now let's go to you. So you're the executive. So you're on the business side,
Yes,
the
I'm
management
right.
side of this.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about your involvement in all of this and your involvement in
You
film.
mean how we got the money together, or from all the way from the beginning?
Anything you want to talk about?
You know, I was in college. I was finishing up at Columbia. Pretty much the reason we got to start, we had written the screen, we had done the stage show, and it was pretty much time for me to go out and get a real job. And we had taken a trip to L.A. to a party that the Illinois Film Office used to host there called Big Chicago. And we had gone out there with the screenplay that Pat and my dad had written, and we were out there just schmoozing, hoping that someone would maybe, you know, take a shot on, you know, looking at the screenplay and kind of pointing us in the right direction of how to make a movie. And then after, you know, sitting down and realizing that we had gone on this sort of our own creative journey together, it kind of dawned on us while we were there that if we're not going to get anyone to sit there and bite on the movie, we're going to make the movie ourselves. And I think that's probably when we started Houlihan Creative, and then we opened up, you know, an office next door to where his office was, and set up shop and got to work. And
Now, in today's day, since you got from Columbia, because I've been involved in TV a little bit, and I'll be a little bit low budget, but with some good equipment, is that it's much easier nowadays to film, to edit, you know, than it was even 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 15 years ago.
I think that would be a question to talk to him about, yeah.
Yeah, Columbia College was a great place, and it's much easier. I mean, well, we have YouTube now. It's a perfect example of, you know, anybody can be
I
a
love
filmmaker,
YouTube.
You know, I think one of the great things.
I love YouTube.
I love it too. One of the great things about, well, what I'm saying is that basically, yeah, anybody can be a filmmaker.
Well, I
you
find
know?
like music videos or clips from movies that I haven't seen and I can't find.
Right.
Although there is one place, by the way, to find movies that if anybody's interested, we did a show on here, which is part of this theme, called Odd Obsessions. It's in the Bucktown, Wicker Park area. Probably a good article for Hoolie in the Hood, because there was a number of movies I was looking for, including the black and white Viva Zapata with Marlon Brando and Anthony Quinn. Actually, John McCain watches it on the campaign trails.
No kidding.
He has, so somehow he got it on DVD. I could only find it on VHS. And then The Keep, which is a Michael Mann movie. But they have a number of movies, foreign films, film noir, that you can't find anywhere else.
But, yeah, in segments on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, what I was getting at is, yes, I think that anybody can be a filmmaker. I think Columbia College, what the great thing that you can learn there is that you learn how to, first of all, you're being taught by filmmakers, people that are working in the industry. And secondly, you learn how to, you know, every kid there that's, you know, studying film has to learn how to write a film, direct it and edit and do everything himself. And I think that, you know, and it's also the biggest film school in the country. Sadly, what you don't learn in film school is that this is a business. And aside from, you know, sitting in your mom's basement and making movies with your friends, there is a proper way to go about launching films off the ground and finding talent and, you know, getting noticed in Hollywood.
And finding the money.
And finding the dough, man. You know, I mean, that. Everyone says, "How do you make a movie?" I said, "You got any money?" You know, I mean, if you have.
So
money,
how did
you
you
can do
find the
movies.
money?
Well, the money was, yeah, I mean, pretty much the executive producer became my title. I had a marketing degree from Columbia. You know, when we were coming about to make this movie, you just, you know, you can't have, you know, your director and then one of your stars of the film and all three of us be called the executive producers. We just didn't think that, I don't know, maybe that would be marketable towards the way of launching the movie. A lot of people might shy away from something like that. So to have the title itself to one guy be the director. I mean, we were all involved in the fundraising efforts of this movie. It's just such a low-budget indie movie that, you know, probably a lot of people in the film industry, just by looking at it on paper, would know, get some sort of an inclination about how we came to. You ask your friends, you ask business associates. You know, a lot of it is just networking. Just and then also
All of it.
just getting on the call, just getting on the phone and having enough guts to ask, you know, and that's pretty much what we did. We got the LLC together and went out there and did it.
Okay.
Right.
Now, how did you find the actors? I saw that you had some bigger names, Ben Vereen, some local actors that have been in a number of films. Who are some? Actually, why don't you tell me some of the actors?
Tim Kazurinsky, Greg Holloman. I met. Greg knew my dad already, and I remember watching Greg when he was a younger man on the Cracker Barrel show.
60 pounds ago.
Yeah. Well, I was a kid at that point, but yeah, and I loved Greg, and I saw him, and it was fate. I was working as a stand-in on a movie, a bigger budget movie. We won't plug their movie.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and Greg was there, and I was like, "Hey, wow, man, I loved you on Strangers with Candy. You know my dad, and listen, we got this script together. Would you be interested?" And Greg for first was probably just like, "Oh, this is this smart-ass kid asking me to be in his movie." But then over time, we kept nagging him, and then he read the script, and he was like, "I don't get it." And then we did a read-through, and then we did a read-through with we got a bunch of our boys together and actors that we knew were going to be in the movie. And then Greg was sold when he saw us actually do the table read.
Yeah.
And then once Greg got on board, it was a lot easier to get guys like
David
Pasquesi and Tim Kazurinsky and people like that, because Greg had the Second City cred, and they were like, "Oh, he's going to do it. All right, I'll take a look at it and see if it's any good." And then they came on board, and it's sort of
So it's a lot of Chicago.
It tumbleweeded from
we
there.
used Mark Borchardt from American Movie.
I was a big fan of.
When we were at Marquette, we were huge fans of Mark Borchardt because I just thought it was one of the funniest documentaries I had ever seen.
Right.
But he's just such this.
He was a character in himself.
Yeah.
And I knew that. And he wasn't a movie star. I knew he had movie star status, where everybody in Hollywood would know who he was, but he wasn't making any movie star money, so I knew that I could afford him, basically. Ben Vereen, shot in the dark. I know all I can say is that the script really is about helping your fellow man, and Ben had some hard times in his life, and I think that the script resonated with him, and he said, "You know what? I'll take a shot."
It reminded me a little bit of reading. I didn't read the full script, but the summaries that you guys sent over of a Capra-like film.
It is, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it has a redemption type of quality, kind of interesting characters, and not
I would
not
say
too heavy, but not too shallow either.
We don't use any profanity in this movie either.
Okay.
I love it. It's kind of funny.
That's different than
bit.
Comedy Central. That's different than. Who's the African-American comedian? He left. He went to Africa. I always liked his show.
David
Dave
Chappelle.
Chappelle.
Oh, yeah.
Because one time somebody, I think they were criticizing my show when I was doing interviews more on the political side. They go, "I watch your show. It's better than Chappelle." I think they meant it as an insult to me, or at least an insult to my guest. I'm not sure what it was, but somebody said, "Yeah, your show's better than Chappelle." I go, "I have a serious show." I mean, so. Well, you seem like you have a great cast. You have a great story. And again, I said it reminded me of Capra, especially It's a Wonderful Life. And Capra is one of my favorite filmmakers.
A lot of people have told us that it's a lot like
And Capra actually is a very Catholic sensibility. Since you guys went to a Jesuit high school, he was a very...
hold on.
We went to Mount Carmel on the south side.
Okay. Well, this just broke off me today. Maybe this is a coincidence. I have my scapular, and I got it from a friend from Carmel.
Oh, really?
And it broke off because, I don't know, I was swimming too much or something, but it broke off today.
Bury it or burn it.
Okay. I've been keeping it in my pocket, so I'm hoping it still gives me the same level of protection here.
Sure.
But that Capra had a very Catholic sensibility, which was very about redemption, incarnation, kind of those type of themes.
Right.
And so it's a very Capra film to film.
It is.
Feel the film.
I think that just came out of us, by who we are. We'd never set out to be like, hey, let's make this movie with some sort of, Christian message to it. It was more like, let's make a movie that's about, this guy who's a bum car salesman, and it might be funny, and we'll do some sketches, but there had to be some substance there, and the character does have to make a turn in the film. And a lot of people, because there's church sequences in the film, but churches are also safe haven for people that are homeless. But a lot of people sort of take the film one way, and other people take it another way. Other people are like, "Oh, that's a religious film you just made," Then other people are like, "That's a oddball, wacky comedy," And it works both ways, and that's the beauty of the film, I think.
I think everybody has imagined themselves homeless at one time or another. Just when you see a guy in the street and you think, "Well, don't want to wind up like that guy," and that's kind of what we went with. Was let's take a guy who is a complete jerk and put him in that world, and see how he changes.
Well, some even modern films, we did a TV show on blaxploitation films. I know I'm looking at Greg now when I'm saying that, but and I don't know if he's blaxploitation, but Rick Perry, who's done the Medea films and the like, Tyler Perry, excuse me, he's had more of a religious sensibility, a more positive or traditional sensibility and theme show. So they're not completely out, although there are more nihilistic shows, more kind of hedonistic shows. But let me ask you this: tell us briefly what the plot is, without any spoilers. Yeah, without any spoilers.
Oh, what the plot is? Well, you could.
The plot is about a guy named Pipes McGonigal, who's a used car salesman, kind of a wise-ass jerk, and he's a misanthrope.
And that's you in the movie.
That's right. And he treats everybody he meets like dirt. And he happens to run into Ben Vereen, who is a streetwise vendor, and he abuses him on the street, thinking it's funny. And the Ben Vereen character, who is called Nuts, puts a hex on him and turns him into a homeless guy. So he has to go on this journey learning the inherent dignity of man as he meets all these crazy characters like Greg, who plays a guy named Hats, who has like 20 hats on his head. You've seen those guys on the street. And we tried to find as many different homeless type characters and shot a lot of... That's what was fun about having all the Second City guys. We could plug them in doing little cameos in an alley and stuff, playing all the different characters. And
now, you learned a little bit about homeless people when you did one of the Hooli and the Hood pieces, where you actually you researched the homeless. And
that was for Streetwise. I did a 7-week series about the guys on Lower Wacker. Yeah, I went down, and that's when we knew we were doing the film. So I hooked up with Streetwise and said, "Let me do this," and they were great, and we did, and met a lot of really interesting people. And the funny thing I discovered, everybody thinks, oh, they're all philosophers at heart. Well, no, a lot of them are just complete jerks, and they deserve to be down there. I discovered that after 7 weeks. Yeah. But there's a myriad of different characters there.
Well, some people, I understand, are also mentally ill.
Yeah.
Some people have substance abuse problems.
Right.
And then some people had a combination of bad luck.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
some people just can't maintain a good relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
And some are just tapioca, man.
Yeah. Bad breaks and misunderstandings is, whatever.
It's one of the things Pipe says. It's just a series of bad breaks and misunderstandings.
Bad breaks and misunderstandings. Well, we don't want to spoil the plot, so we won't go too much more on it. But we won't ask if he ever gets redeemed here. But I guess you have to watch the movie. But tell us where we could watch the movie, or when the movie's coming out. What's your timetable here?
The film has just been picked up by Vanguard Cinema, which is a DVD distributor, and hopefully it'll be out by November, December, and you should be able to get it anywhere: Netflix, Amazon, Blockbuster.
Do you have a website for the movie?
Yeah, it's www.tapiocathemovie.com.
www.tapiocathemovie.com.
Or you could just come by his house on Friday.
Yeah. I'll do it in the backyard.
Now, are there any special screenings or openings or anything like that?
We're playing the film festival circuit right now. We premiered the film in Park City, Utah at the Park City Film Music Festival. We've played the Texas Black Film Festival. And we also recently played the First Take Film Festival in Augusta, Georgia. And hopefully we'll be at a lot more, some of them in Chicago, hopefully.
Before this show, we had a Chicago area director, Usama Al-Shabi, who did a film that's on Sundance right now.
Yeah,
will we
it's
see,
a big deal. Nice bombs.
Nice bombs. Will we see you on cable or?
At some point, if we're lucky, I would hope so.
Yeah, that would be up to the distributor.
Well, Pat, Billy, and Michael Houlihan and Greg Holloman, thank you very much for being on our show. And if you get a chance, watch Tapioca. It sounds like a great movie. I'm going to watch it. And stay tuned for any Houlihan in the Hood in the Sun-Times and any other future projects from all these local area actors and directors and producers. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. God bless.
She's a beauty, right, Mr. and Mrs. Deadbeat?
It's debut.
We're French.
You know, that's cool, Mr. and Mrs. Deadbeat, because we don't care what kind of credit problems you have. No job, no problemo. Hey, criminal record is cool, too. I'm going to find a way to put you in the driver's seat of this baby. I don't care if you murdered your mother.
What's this charge on the bill?
That's for the twin flam shooters in this automobile.
Is this going to cost us more dough?
You'll never find sleazy ale or salesmen like him at Ernie Wambach's used cars. We will not be undersold, and our sales team are the most courteous professionals you can hope to find. So come on down to Ernie Wambach's today and let my staff allow you to steal a quality pre-owned vehicle at a great price. I'll throw in the flam shooters for free. You'd have to be nuts to get away from these rates.
Hey, Moses, chap. Come on over here. Get on them bulrushes and get over here. Moses!
It's Mose, not Moses.
What's wrong with Moses?
It's just Mose, man.
Hey, Moses led his people out of Egypt. I guess you don't want your people to know that, huh?
What you want?
Give this baby a wash and a wax. Will you detail it, too? I'm going in to talk to Mr. Wambach.
Hey, Mr. Wambach said it's okay.
Junior does what I tell him to, Mose. Now break out the Toodle wax and get busy, boy.
Cracker ass cracker.
So, car dealer walks up to a black guy, says, "You thinking about buying this car?" Black guy says, "No, I'm thinking about Twiffy."
Why is it always got to be a black guy?
Because black guys like Twiffy.
So do all men. Freud says it's our ultimate goal.
Fred was right. If it wasn't for Twiffy, I'd be president of the United States.
Ernie! Hey, you know that black kid you got working a lot? Moses? He needs an attitude adjustment.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's pissed off at the world. Tell him it ain't easy being white either.
You tell him.
I will.
We're letting you go, Pipes.
Let me go where?
We're not renewing your contract.
What?
Look, you did a great job for us with the commercials and everything, but we're embarking on a new image, and you will not be a part of it. Thanks for everything.
Wait a minute, I don't think so, Junior. What does your old man have to say about this?
It was his idea. We're pulling the plug.
Baloney!
You know what, Pipes? I think maybe you're the one with the attitude problem. Fact is, you're fired, so the sooner you get off my lot, the better.
Ernie!
Mr. Wambach Stern, how many times do I have to tell you that? Can't you see him in a meeting?
Sorry, Mr. Wambach. One of the mechanics just told me there are 2 winos. They've been living in boxes behind the garage. They've been out there for over a week. Shouldn't we do something about them?
Yes, Lee, we should do something. Take some initiative, will ya? Do something and let me get on with this meeting. Now get the hell out of my office.
You see, that's the problem with this place. Everybody is interested in everything except selling freaking cars. Pipes, you're fired. We paid you through the end of the month, and the commercials are supposed to go off the air then anyway. Good luck to you, though. Maybe you'll pick up a TV series or something.
I'm calling your old man.
Go right ahead. But right now, I have a dealership to run, so you can take the cigar and vamos.
Stinking dogs! You get away with everything! Crapping in public! Biting people, licking your gonads! What the hell do you have to bark about?
Hey, this my Beverly Hills pretty dog, man. What's wrong? Don't be talking to him
Beverly
like that.
Hills dog, yeah.
Yeah, it's streetwise, mister. Just $1. Come on, help a brother out.
I ain't your brother.
Oh, come on, man. We're all brothers under the skin. Come on, bro.
Roll my ass. Unless the Iceman was your papa.
Ain't no call for all that. Come on, man. Where's the love? Give me some love. $1. Come on, $1. Help the homeless.
How would you like to earn that buck?
What you got in mind?
Tell you what you do. You get down on all fours with your Beverly Hills dog and you lick his sack, and I'll give you a buck.
gonna get you! I'm gonna get you! No! 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 This commercial here! You're mine! Here's the no! Oh, you son of a... You son of a...
Welcome to the Barrel Laughs Comedy Club. This is the longest running comedy show in the Midwest. And my next guest is apparently missing in action. So we're going to take a short intermission and we'll be right back. Oh, wait. Wait. There he is back there, ladies and gentlemen. You know him from those Ernie Wambach used car commercials that ran continuously on cable TV for about a year and a half. He's been traveling. He hasn't been here in about 6 months, but he's been working around the country. He was up in Yucks, up in British Columbia and Vancouver as well. He was in Giggles in Detroit, and he was also in the Laugh Your Ass Off Lounge in Schenectady, ladies and gentlemen. We are glad to have him here. Very crazy man, different outlook on life. Please welcome Mr. Pipes McGonigal, ladies and gentlemen. Pipes, come on up here. Pipes, it's okay, Pipes. The stage is yours. Come on, Pipes. They're waiting for you.
Hey! Hey, Bill's right. He's right. I'm the guy in the Ernie Wambach commercials. Anybody recognize me? No. Hi, everybody. I'm Pipes McGonigal. I may look like a singer, but I actually got this name after my recent hemorrhoid surgery. Say, funny thing happened to me a couple of weeks ago at the Bulls game. Guy's taking a leak, and who should take the next urinal next to me but NBA superstar Skyhook Johnson? I had to look. Whoa, I said, Skyhook, that is the biggest schlong I've ever seen. He says, oh, yeah, man, that's 16 inches. I said, wow, Skyhook, how can I get one like that? He says, well, I tell you what you do, bro. You get yourself a couple of bricks, and you tie the one brick to the end of your penis, and you slide that down your left pants leg. And you take the other brick and you tie that to the end of your weenie, and you slide that down your right pants leg. You'll have 16 inches in a couple of weeks for sure. So I tried it. So about a week goes by, I run into Skyhook again, and he goes, hey there, stranger. How's that experiment coming along with your John Thomas? I said, oh, great, Skyhook, I'm halfway there. And he says, 8 inches? I says, nope. But it's turned black already. Yeah. Great crowd here. Hey, haven't got this good a reception since I visited my old man's grave.
You suck, man.
No, I don't, Sonny. I beg to differ. I don't suck, but I'm sure your girlfriend would be happy to oblige you later in the parking lot. Hey, can't you read the sign? There's no talking or heckling while a performer is on stage. So, zip it up, will you?
That's it. Obviously, you've had a few stops before you got here. Yeah, that's right, Pipes.
And just in time, too, because I'm about to crap my pants.
Pipes McGonigal, folks. Well, moving right along. Pipes, you moron, you just ruined my whole show. You're out of control, buddy. I'm telling you, you're out of control. Oh, geez, Pipes, you know, what's wrong with you? Look at you. You're a mess. You got a problem, buddy. You know what that problem is? You got a drinking problem.
The audience is dog crap.
No, Pipes. You're dog crap, my friend. You need to get out of here and get into some program. I don't want to see you back here again until you do. You just got to get out of here. Okay? Why don't you just go out the back door? Let me help you, you big mope. Just go out the back door.
Get out of my way.